The Breeders' song Cannonball, which kicks off with a weird, distorted, almost alien vocal, became one of the most brilliantly strange and unforgettable anthems in the 90s. It's a sound that is instantly recognizable, a perfect slice of that alt-rock chaos that really defined the entire era. If you listen to Channel 34 Lithium on SiriusXM, they sometimes play the bass riff to promote the station. But what if I told you that buried under all that joyful, chaotic noise is actually a sharp and incredibly clever takedown of one of history's most infamous philosophers, or an homage to a classic 1970s kids movie? Because this isn't just a blast of 90s nostalgia. This is a secret literary satire. It's a work of stealth criticism, taking shots at an 18th century libertine and a classic kids movie all at once. To get really what's going on with Cannonball, you need to understand the world which it was created in. The Breeders were originally formed back in 1989 and started as a side project for Kim Deal, who was already basically indie rock royalty, as a bassist for the massively influential group Pixies. Pixies were the masters of surreal, this jumble of bizarre imagery and inside jokes. They were famous for that loud, quiet, loud dynamic, a formula that would go on to inspire an entire generation of bands, most notably Nirvana. But when the Pixies split in 1993, the Breeders became Kim Deal's main focus. They established their so-called classic lineup around this time, which included Kim's twin sister Kelley, bassist Josephine Wiggs, drummer Jim Macpherson, and the band was suddenly poised for a massive breakthrough. And while they had some of the Pixies' taste, the Breeders' brand of strange just felt a little more grounded, and there was also a mischievous intelligence to the songwriting. A sense that even the most chaotic lines were there for a good reason. This was the era of alternative rock's commercial explosion. It was a weird time when unusual, challenging music could actually storm the pop charts. And in August of '93, the Breeders released their second LP, Last Splash. It was a masterpiece of controlled chaos, just full of surf rock riffs, dreamy harmonies, and jagged experimental noise. It was an album that sounded like nothing else, but somehow felt like everything all at once. And the song leading the charge was its first single, a track that was originally and maybe more descriptively titled Grunge, a mix of grunge and reggae. We know it today as Cannonball. The song became a huge hit, but almost nobody at the time realized they were listening to a high-concept joke about philosophy and film. Given Kim Deal's history, we should have known to look deeper. We should have expected that behind all that noise, a literary detective case was just waiting to be solved. Our first piece of evidence takes us all the way back to the 18th century, in France, to a man whose name became shorthand for cruelty and debauchery, the Marquis de Sade. De Sade was an aristocrat, a philosopher, a writer whose work explored the absolute darkest corners of human desire. He argued for this kind of extreme personal freedom where the powerful could just inflict their will on the weak with zero moral consequences. To him, other people could be treated as mere objects, just playthings for his pleasure. So what does the controversial figure have to do with a 90s alt-rock song? Well, Kim Deal has actually explicitly confirmed the connection in interviews, stating that she said the entire lyrical theme was born when her sister Kelley was reading the biography of de Sade. Deal just found his worldview so completely absurd that she decided to, make fun of him. In her own words, the message of the song as a whole was making fun of de Sade and his libertarian views that if he was better off than someone, then they were just fodder for him. Playthings. It was saying, come on, life's not a contest. She even called him a little libertine and a real cuckoo. And suddenly the lyrics of Cannonball shift from this nonsensical chaos to being sharply satirical. When Kim Deal sings, "I know you little libertine, I know you're a real cuckoo," she is talking directly to the ghost of Marquis de Sade. The libertine is right there. It's a direct accusation. The song's title, the central metaphor, the cannonball, also just clicks into place with this new context. While Deal has said this line wasn't specifically about de Sade, it does fit the theme perfectly. It's this sarcastic, almost mocking declaration of submission. One way to read it is that the singer is ironically offering to be an object, a simple accessory for someone else's pleasure, which is exactly the kind of dehumanizing worldview de Sade was all about. The line is just dripping with dismissive, playful contempt. It's not a real offer, it's a parody of one. Through these fragmented, taunting lines, the song isn't just a collection of cool-sounding words, it's an indictment. It's the Breeders laughing right in the face of a philosophy that sees life as just some brutal contest. Now for our second and maybe even weirder piece of evidence. Let's go back to that unforgettable intro, that distorted rhythmic chant. It's a sound that Kim Deal created by singing through a harmonica mic, just to get that specific nasal squawking tone. For years, fans speculated about where it came from, but the truth confirmed by Deal herself is wonderfully bizarre. It's an imitation of the Oompa Loompas from the 1971 film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. In the film, the Oompa Loompas are the factory's workforce. They're these little guys with orange skin and green hair, and they basically act as a kind of Greek chorus. After each naughty kid meets some sticky, candy-coated end, the Oompa Loompas show up to perform a song, passing moral judgment on the kids' bad behavior. Their songs are all cautionary tales, super rhythmic and repetitive, warning against greed, gluttony, and just being a spoiled brat. On the surface, this just seems like another example of the Breeders' quirky, pop culture-obsessed songwriting. It's a fun, weird reference that makes for a killer opening. But what if it's more than that? This is where the literary detective work gets real interesting, because this leads to a fascinating theory that connects both halves of our case. What if the Oompa Loompa sound isn't just some random gimmick, but a deliberate thematic choice meant to frame the entire song? Think about it. The Oompa Loompas are the moral voice of the story. They sing songs of judgment against characters who are selfish, spoiled, and think the world revolves around them. Now think about the subject of Cannonball, the Marquis de Sade, a guy whose entire philosophy was built on an extreme form of selfishness and the idea that other people were just his playthings. It's possible that by opening their song with the sound of Oompa Loompas, the Breeders are, well, casting themselves in the same role. They're positioning themselves as the moral chorus, about to pass judgment on a bad egg from history. From this perspective, the intro isn't just a quirky sound effect, it's the setup of the punchline. The Oompa Loompa chant signals that a lesson is about to be taught, and that lesson is the lyrical takedown of de Sade's philosophy. The song literally opens up with the voice of judgment and then proceeds to deliver that judgment in the verses. It's a stunningly clever, if subtle, piece of structural storytelling. The music and the lyrics are working together to deliver a single satirical message. The Cannonball is a reckless act, and the Oompa Loompa intro is a warning siren that comes right before it. So what did we uncover here? Well, Cannonball is not just some chaotic blast of 90s noise, it's a meticulously constructed piece of satire. It's a puzzle box of literary and pop culture references that, once you unlock it, reveals a sharp and funny critique of a really dark philosophy. The evidence is clear. We have the direct confirmation from Kim Deal that she was actively making fun of Marquis de Sade and his selfish worldview, calling him a cuckoo, and pushing back against the idea that life is some brutal contest. And we have her confirmation that the song's iconic intro is a direct nod to the judgmental Oompa Loompas of Willy Wonka. When you put these two pieces together, the song just transforms. It becomes this work of layered genius. The Breeders use the moralistic, whimsical voice of a children's movie to introduce their takedown of an infamous philosopher. They wrap their intellectual critique in a noisy, joyful, and just irresistibly catchy package of an alternative rock anthem. The song is aggressive and playful, and it's smart and silly. It's profound and nonsensical all at the same time. It's a testament to a band that was never afraid to be weird, and a reminder that sometimes the most important statements are hidden in the strangest places. Cannonball isn't just a great song, it's a brilliant joke that has been going on for over 30 years. It's a last splash in a wishing well, and its ripples are still being felt today. As for the song's commercial performance, it peaked at number 2 on the alternative airplay chart and number 32 on the mainstream rock tracks chart. And it also proved to be a crossover hit, peaking at number 44 on the Hot 100. Last Splash proved to be the Breeders' biggest record of their career, going platinum. So what other 90s songs have a hidden meaning you've always wondered about? Is there a track from this era that you think is secretly brilliant? Let me know in the comments section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have suggestions for future topics we should cover, let me know in the comment section below, and we'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories 2.